Thank you for tuning in. This is DJ Fobfresh from SegaShiro.com, the Sega resource, and today we're kicking it old school, and we're taking a look at RayStorm, or otherwise known as Layer Section 2 in Japan. So this title was initially launched in 1996 in the arcades. It was later ported to the Sega Saturn and the Sony PlayStation in 1997. It made it over to Windows-based PCs in 2001, and just because you can't keep a good game down, Square Enix is releasing this title on XBLA and PSN in HD. Now, RayStorm is the middle title in a trilogy of games, the first being Galactic Attack, or otherwise known as Ray Force, and was followed up by Ray Crisis. It's hard not to draw comparisons to the first title in the series, which was Ray Force, and the gameplay is pretty much identical. Essentially, you have your forward-facing shots, which shoot directly above the ship, like in most shooters, but you also have your Vulcan lasers, which shoot into the depth of the screen. This specific gameplay hook is really what makes the Ray Force series stand out compared to a lot of other shooters out there. Like with most sequels, the idea is to make the game bigger in some departments, and so what they did was they added more ships. There's 3 ships to choose from. In the original PlayStation version, 1 was locked out, but on the Saturn version, they're all available right from the start. So what are the 3 ships? Well, the first ship is Gray 0, and that is the standard ship from the first game, Ray Force. Gray 2 is the ship that you're seeing on screen right now, which has a constant forward-firing laser and shoots lightning bolts. Now, the cool thing about these lightning bolts is you can't directly control where they go, as they automatically track to enemies. However, in hectic situations, the lightning bolt can actually get lost before you can fire it again. The final ship type is known as Gray 1, which is the original ship from the first game with the added smart bomb functionality. And this leads me into my next point. In the one sense, a smart bomb can get you out of a hectic situation very quickly. However, it also can lend to situations where the developer takes a lazy path where you need to use a smart bomb to get out of the particular situation. Now, I particularly liked Ray Force for not having smart bombs, but this one has them. Some gamers will love it, some will despise it. As you can see from the screens above, the entire game is set in English, making this a very import-friendly title. There's tons of options to select. You can change your credits, you can change even the difficulty setting per level, so it's really friendly in that sense. Like the first title in the series, the storyline is pretty much resigned to the manual. However, if you have the Japanese import version, the manual will not be as accessible as if you bought the PlayStation version. The PlayStation version was actually ported by Working Designs, and they actually retweaked the difficulty as well. RayStorm was the first title to bring the series into the 3D polygon era, and on the PlayStation this was largely considered one of the better shooters on the system. However, on the Saturn, it didn't fare so well. The Saturn version just feels a little bit sluggish. That's probably my biggest problem with the game, is compared to the original Ray Force title, this one has frame rate dips throughout. The first title in the series just has seemed to age better over the years. Though, to give this game some credit, when I first booted it up after a long time of being away from it, I was pretty impressed with the visuals. The one issue with it though is that everything seems so much more still than the first game. Ultimately, this slower feeling changes the pace of the game, and really holds the title back from reaching that upper echelon of shooters, simply because you can never really fully get into the zone. The controls for this title are perfectly solid both on the Saturn pad and on the arcade stick. Any issues with the controls actually stem from the technical issues of the graphics. The sound design is pretty solid. The laser blasts and all of the sound effects from the original title make it over to this sequel, so that's good. There's a sense of continuity there. The score is also very similar to the first title. The art design still remains fantastic despite all the years, and one cool thing about the game is that it actually runs the full width of the screen despite being a vertical scrolling shooter. RayStorm is a title with immense potential. I really wanted to love this game more than I did on the Sega Saturn, but that could be because of the port. I'm really excited to see how this game translates to the HD space, where that potential could be realized. This is DJ Fobfresh signing out, saying keep on gaming.